Greetings, everyone, and welcome to today's show. My name is Shay Parker, and this is Metaphysical Minds. We'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. I know we have a lot of regulars that are tuning in today, so just give us a big shout out. Tell us where you're from. We'd love to hear from you. And, guys, anybody that's ever watched this show before knows that we totally love audience participation. So if we're discussing anything today during the show and you want to comment about it or you have a question about it, we'd love for you to type it in the comments section. Also, just a quick reminder, if you like what you're hearing today and you would like to hear more of it, type the word spirit, S-P-I-R-I-T. It is not case sensitive. Just type the word spirit in the comments as well. And then what will happen is you will enter our little automated bot system, and then it will automatically subscribe you to future shows, and you'll get like show reminders and stuff like that for the next for the upcoming shows and the upcoming topics. We air every 2 weeks, so we skip a week. Every other Wednesday we're on at noon Eastern time, and we will not spam you or anything like that. If you ever wanted to unsubscribe, you just type in unsubscribe and we'll be happy to take you off the list. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into today's topic. Today we're going to be talking all about empaths. Now that's a very, very big word, a lot to cover. So we're actually going to make this a two-part show. Today we're going to cover what empaths are and kind of get into the building blocks of empaths. And then in 2 more weeks, we're going to come back for part 2 of the show, and we're going to really delve deeper into the topic about, kind of like who empaths attract and relationships with empaths and stuff like that. So lots to talk about today. And in order to talk about these things, I have to have 2 very special guests with me, which I do. Both these ladies are from bestamericanpsychics.com. And they're both tried, tested, proven professionals. So today with us, we have Miss, I'm just going to go from the way I'm seeing you here, Tiffany Powers. Tiffany, say hi to everybody. There she is. All right. And then we also have Cate Coffelt with us. There we are. Welcome, Cate. So both these ladies are no stranger to the show. They've both been with us before. Everybody here is saying hi to us, so thank you guys. Julie is back with us. Corinder's back with us. More people are logging in. So empaths, ladies, let's sort of jump right into the topic. First of all, the most obvious question out there is, what is an empath? So anybody want to start this? Tiffany, I'll let you start, and then Cate, if you want to jump in and add anything, that's the way we'll do it. So great. Take her away, Tiffany.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So I'm really excited to talk about this because there are so many empaths out there. And a lot of times when you're an empath, you're like, am I crazy? Like, why am I so sensitive? Like, why do I need this time alone? And sometimes feel very alone and very different. And that can be a really hard place to be in. And those are usually the comments I get a lot from the clients that I work with, because I help a lot of people that are, entrepreneurs or that are empaths, and they don't really realize that they are, and they're having like experiences. And once they understand more about it, they're able to really become more empowered with it and utilize it for the betterment of their life and for others, instead of it being a stressful thing, because I do think it can be quite stressful. And, for me being a really strong empath, I used to get really bad anxiety. I used to just really be feeling stuff constantly, and it was overwhelming for me. So in my opinion, I feel like an empath is somebody that has the gift of feeling, and they're able to feel so many different things, from, possibly like experiences that have happened in locations, to other people's emotions, thoughts, and feelings, to, other people's blocks, like even take that stuff on when it's not even theirs. And they're even animals' pain, Earth's pain, reading something online, like on Facebook, and seeing a post of an animal and then feeling that energy in your body. So it's basically where you are so tapped in and tuned into pretty much everything that it has an effect on your body. And then if you don't know how to clear the energy or work with it, it can be detrimental for some, or really hard for them to deal with. And I've been there and I understand that, but that's how I see it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And I absolutely agree with that. Cate, what do you have for us?
Yeah. So I also look at empaths as, we're born with this. It's not what we do It's not the same gift as clairsentience, where we feel something, but we absorb information, we absorb feelings, we absorb our environment. Some empaths will absorb, the earth. I was talking to a friend the other day. I can sense massive earthquakes. I just don't know where they're going to be. And I know Ecuador just had an earthquake a couple of weeks ago. I was on the phone with a friend. I'm like just sitting there. All of a sudden I could feel the earth. I'm like, oh, someone's having a massive earthquake tomorrow. And they did. So there's animal, just like Tiffany said, there's folks that tap into animals, but there's a difference too. I think some people also hear the term highly sensitive person. So there's a slight difference between highly sensitive people and empaths. And that used to confuse me. So before I started doing this work professionally and understanding what I was labeled highly sensitive. I'm like, what's that? And the more I research, it's like, oh, empaths are similar. They just take it one step. They're like one step higher on the scale, is what I want to say. As far as the sensitivity, as far as absorbing others, they can connect with spirit on the other side. Empaths are really good mediums for the most part. They can feel their physical sensations, and that's not to be confused with the medical intuitive, right? So there's so much involved with being an empath, and so many ways we connect with others, whether it be the earth or human or animal, right? So it's just extreme sensitivity. You can walk into a room and, do the vibes feel off? For me, I could walk in, I'm like, oh, no, we're not going in here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, yeah, let's go. Let's have some fun, right? And it just vibes matter to us. So it's just we live off of that, and if we're not protected, just like Tiffany said, we could feel like we're going crazy, or why are we so angry all of a sudden? I was in a good mood a moment ago. What happened? So if you're not aware of your gifts and your sensitivities, it can really wreak havoc in your life. It's a curse.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like that you both kind of touched on the different kinds of empaths. And actually, Tiffany shared with us a screenshot or a list, if you will, of the different types of empaths. And I'm sharing that right now on the screen. There are quite a different there's 7 different types of empaths, and I'll just quickly hit them. We've got the emotional empath, the medical or physical, excuse me, empath, the geomantic empath, the plant empath, animal empath, claircognizant or intuitive empath, and then we've got the mirror empath or a heyoka. And the heyoka basically is a Native American term that means mirror. So, and I'm not going to read every single description of these. You guys can kind of take a look at them. And I think we can even post a link here in the comments to this particular chart. We can do that a little bit later probably. But anyway, you can read through these different ones and then kind of figure out if any of this resonates with you. And it is, and correct me if I'm wrong, ladies, but it is possible to be several of these different types, is it not?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm all of them.
Yeah, all of the above. Okay.
Yep, that's us.
Okay.
Especially if you're wired, with empaths. When I said we're born with this, it's not something we just do or develop. You're born this way. Our nervous system is actually wired differently physically. We're wired differently, and this is not surprising to. Like for me, I hit all of them at different times, so, in different degrees, different scales. And I think Tiffany would agree with that too. I tend to connect with animals really easally and spirit, right? And I can intuit the earth a lot. Plants, not so much, but we all have our strengths.
Listen, everybody. Yeah. Okay. Tiffany, did you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, well, I think it's good I would love for people that are watching the show right now that think they might be an empath to look at that And I think if they can look at that and have a deeper understanding, again, it's going to help them go, okay, I'm not crazy. Like other people feel like this too. There's a list here. Yeah, and I think it's cool to understand, about these different types of things and like why you feel the way that you feel. And also like to know if you're feeling a certain way, like getting in a bad mood or feeling all of a sudden blocked with something, but it's not even yours, or like a fear and it's not yours. It's very useful information because you can, if you have awareness on, for example, taking on somebody's fears around you or like your spouse's fears or whatever, or your, friend's fears, if you can be aware of that, sometimes that awareness is enough to remove blockages and help you to move forward. So it's really good to know and understand this. And something that I like to say is like anything that I'm taking on that is not mine, I'm letting this go. And I literally just say that every single day. Or if I'm going somewhere and I'm sensing something, I will say that as well. And another thing I want to add in too that is not listed here is that empaths can also feel when other people are psychically attacking them, talking about them, or having ill will towards them. And a lot of times it can show up as energy in the solar plexus and either feeling punched in the stomach or sick or an anxiety feeling with that. But that's also another thing that's not listed because that's another thing that comes up a lot. It's like people have that sensation and they don't really know what's going on, but it's actually, somebody around them is kind of sending them bad energy or having a negative thought about them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. But okay, so I want to go back to something you just said. Basically, if you're picking up on other people's fears or, sensations or something like that, and you said that anything that is not, yours, you want to release it. Now, we've done a lot of shows about intuition, as you ladies know. So how do you know the difference between what is your intuition? For instance, if you walk into a room and then you start feeling like fearful or you start getting, nervous about something or suddenly your anxiety shoots through the roof, how can you distinguish between, okay, I'm picking up on someone else's energy, like as an empath, or hey, this is my own intuition saying something is majorly wrong here and I've got to get out. So what would you say to that?
So for me, what I do is I use muscle testing a lot where I test my body and I'll ask, am I picking up something from this space? Am I picking up something from someone here? Or am I in danger right now? And I'll kind of ask questions, go within, and I'll just kind of see if my body's saying yes or no, and I'll go with that. Mm-hmm. But eventually your intuition can develop so much that you can just know exactly what it is. You'll just like, oh, this is the space, or, oh, somebody died in this space and I'm picking up on their anxiety pertaining to that, or, whatnot. But as you develop yourself, but in the beginning, I always teach my clients to do like a lot of muscle testing to see like what is theirs and what is not theirs so that they can know, what to work on if it is theirs, or if it's not theirs, just letting it go, releasing it and clearing it. Whatever is not mine, I'm letting this go.
Oh, very interesting. Yeah, I and we'll talk a little bit more about that muscle testing. Cate, what about you? What do you do to differentiate?
I really just follow my gut. Like the intensity of the feeling is important too. And I think the more attuned you are to yourself and the more inward that you go, the more you protect yourself. You do understand the difference between, oh, that's spirit, or that's somebody else's emotion, or this is me. You really do have that balance. But when you're first starting out, I do a lot of times, a lot of my clients, I'll coach them to practice just breathing, just, close their eyes and breathe, just breathe and feel the air going through their nostrils, right? And the going out the mouth, just simple things like that. So they can start feeling the difference in their physical sensations. Because once they start doing that, then they can start differentiating, oh, this is an unusual energy. This isn't really, I'm not really angry. This must be something else. So they start opening up naturally this way. So this is like one of the little steps that you can take to start protecting yourself, to start understanding your gifts, start understanding your sensitivities. And like Tiffany said, there's also, there's a lot on the internet, for highly sensitive folks that might not be all the way up to an empath. There's Dr. Elaine Aaron. She has a highly sensitive test you could take online. You could see if any of those questions resonate with you, right? And she gives also suggestions to, to start helping you feel your environment. And I like her explanation. It's kind of, it's kind of like the elk in the tundra, she says, right? This is what she says. And I'm paraphrasing, I'm paraphrasing. But, it's like the elk in the tundra. They're all grazing, right? And that one all of a sudden pops up and, oh, danger, and they all take off, right?
Yeah.
So it's becoming aware of your environment as well. And sometimes you don't have time to think. You just have to trust that instant reaction, like, oh, this doesn't feel good, back up, move back, right? Take the pause.
Yeah, no, I really like that analogy too, the elk and the tundra, because how often do you see it? I mean, I see it with horses every day. It's like they'll be all sitting there chilling, and then one is like, hey, there's a bear coming, and they all just like, oh no. So yeah, it's and it's so funny because we have that, like, every day. There are people that have that, these sensations, and but it's all kind of about figuring out sort of what to do with them. And also, there are some downsides. We were talking a little bit before the show. It's a blessing and a curse. So let's talk a little bit about the protections that we can set up for as an empath. And Tiffany, I'll bounce back to you, and then we'll bounce back to Cate again. So.
Sure. So these are some things. I'm sure Cate has some awesome ones too. So for the empathic people that I work with, I have them doing a lot of crystal gridding in their homes, teaching them how to do that, how to set up selenite grids. And selenite is an amazing crystal that's always clearing energies, and you never have to charge it. You can always, it's always charged. You never have to clear it. It's always clear. So you can put it with other crystals to clear them as well. So, using selenite, I think, is fabulous. Making crystal grids at your house, wearing selenite on your body. Also working with different crystals that are darker. She's got it. I know.
There we go.
I have a piece this big in my room, and my cat this morning, I was doing a healing session. My cat jumped on the giant piece of selenite and laid on it. Your pets will love it too. Just make sure they don't eat it. But yeah, so selenite, I'm a big believer in that. I also have them get like salt lamps and selenite castle lamps for their homes to kind of continue to cleanse, and using tools like crystals and salt lamps to help them to not absorb as much, as well as utilizing sage and Palo Santo and incense and essential oils that can help with all those things. Can really help, as well as I meditate every single day. And as soon as there's something in my space that is not mine, I'm, letting it go and releasing it. So I'm always keeping my energy clear. I think that the healing and clearing is really important, as well as visualizing white light around you. But those are just some of the tools that I use and I teach people to use.
Okay, great. That's wonderful. Cate, what about you? I know you've got a few, obviously.
Yeah, so just like Tiffany, crystals, I think, for an empath, for a survival guide, you cannot go wrong with selenite, black tourmaline, and rose quartz. So the rose quartz, to remember to self-love. That's one of the biggest things an empath really must do, is practice self-love, whatever that looks like for you. If it's taking a walk on the beach every day, you take a walk on the beach to fill your soul every day. If it's riding horses, you go ride on that horse, right? You go into meditation. Meditation is key every day, right? If I cut it short, I feel it, right? It's like, and when you meditate, one of the things that comes through a lot in readings for me that I've noticed, and, I practice this myself, is just imagining heaven's light pouring over you and bathing you, right? Or even going through your chakras and spinning your chakras and cleansing them, So there's a lot of different tools in that way you can use. In meditation, get to feel your guides, and feel their personality, right? See if you can feel like their energy, their different, the different ways they communicate, right? That expands your empathic knowledge, right? So you can differentiate your energy versus maybe what one of your guides is trying to share with you, right? So, and angel tuning forks. So I cannot use, I'm in a building that has absolutely no smoking. So I can't use Palo Santo and I'm allergic to sage. I'm allergic to sage. So one of the things I do, which is helpful, is I've got singing bowls everywhere, and I tap every single one around the room and to clear the energy. And then I use angel tuning forks to bring in the good, to seal in the good. So there's just different techniques you can use as an empath, whatever feels right. Some is music. I moved to the beach so I can breathe in the salt air, because salt is huge. Salt is really big. Take a salt bath, do salt floats. There's so many different techniques that you can do to protect yourself.
Yeah, great cleansing. Cate, give us the name of that author one more time, because I want to post that link up for folks.
Yes, Elaine Aron, Dr. Elaine Aron, Aron. And of course, the Judith Orloff, she's got the Bible of empaths, right? Empathic survival guide. She really goes into a lot of detail about empaths and the differences between highly sensitive people and empaths, down to like what are good professions for empaths, professions to stay away from, right? Whereas Elaine Aron, she really goes into more of the highly sensitive person. So you might not. So there's a difference. So you might want to start off with that if you're not sure about, I'm not an empath. You might want to start with, Dr. Aron's.
Yeah, figuring that out. We have a comment actually from one of our listeners, Sherry, or it could be Cherie. I never get this right, but I know that you're a regular, so thank you for that. And she writes, can use a deck of cards to help distinguish and set healthy boundaries. Shuffle the deck, pick a mine color, I guess one that sort of resonates with you. Pick up a card and say, this is mine, this is theirs, and sort into 2 piles. Do as quickly as you can, surprising how many you will find in the wrong pile when you finish. So great tip out there, Cherie. Thank you for that. Or maybe Sherry, I'm sorry. But it's hard when you're just reading a name and you don't exactly know how it's pronounced. So anywho, that's a great option as well. So we certainly thank you for that suggestion. Let's see, I'm just going through our other comments here. Anne says, thank you for all the ideas. Yes, these are really, Julie Palmer. Earlier in the conversation when you ladies were talking, actually, Julie, who is also one of our regulars, wrote, wow, full on sadness felt when friend tells me about their issues, either illness or relationships. My hands fill up with big, powerful energy, and I start distance healing. So, that's the thing about being an empath. Sometimes we do sort of take on the world, and we take on that sorrow, and we take on that pain, and it really can be very detrimental, health-wise. For us, if you don't do what these ladies are talking about right here with us and find a way to release that, find a way to ground your own energy, and then find a way to distinguish between, this is them, this is me, and we're having this merging and this melding right now because I am picking up on this stuff, but I really have to release that and kind of flush out. So great comments from the audience, and we really do thank you guys for participating with us.
Shay, I was going to suggest
go ahead, Cate.
For Julie, if she wants to take that light exercise a little further, if she just sits in meditation and breathes in that light and holds it in, like imagine she's holding that light in every cell of her body and then blows that light out. So she's like, she's blowing herself into a bubble of light that will set like an energetic boundary for her. So she just absorbs so much of the energy, and carry some selenite on you. That just clears that auric field really well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead, Tiffany. What'd you say?
I said yes to the selenite.
Okay, so let's talk about selenite a little bit. And guys, again, we're going to post this in the selenite is spelled Selenite, not Cel. So if you're looking to get it, make sure you know what you're looking for. But let's talk a little bit about that. So, okay, we've got our cleansers, and black tourmaline I think is a huge one as well. It takes the negative energy, repels it back. I've had a personal experience with black tourmaline that was I would have not have believed it if it hadn't happened to me. I can share that story really quickly too. But anyway, with the selenite or with any of our crystals, so we shoot this nasty, yucky energy down to them. But what a lot of people forget is that they actually have to clear their crystals as well, because energy has to go somewhere. So let's talk about clearing those crystals. And Tiffany, I'll jump back to you, and then Cate, we'll just keep ping-ponging here. So
sure. And I wanted to also share an exercise that's super easy. It'll just take 1 second for me to explain. But so basically, all you need it to clear yourself with selenite is just to grab a piece of selenite. You can have I have huge logs, or like this, massive logs, or little baby ones, or whatever. And anybody can do this. It will work for anyone. You just take a piece of selenite, you hold it to your heart chakra, whether it's small or big. You spread your legs shoulder width apart, you close your eyes, and then your body will start to move by itself. So you'll just kind of feel your body moving. It will go forward and back. It might go side to side. It might go in a circle. And then you can connect with your selenite and just ask it to just do healing work on you, to clear you. And then once it's done, your body will totally stop. It'll stop moving, and then you will feel better. And this can take 30 seconds or maybe a couple minutes, but this is a very easy exercise that anybody can do. Even if you're skeptical, it'll probably work for you and you'll be shocked. But that's something that I use. And then as far as clearing your crystals, I kind of do the easy way. I just have my giant selenite, and then I put all my crystals next to it. And then I check the charge on it by using, I have some pendulums, and I don't really use them that much, only to check charges on crystals. And I will just check and see if they're dead, or if they're, have energy in them, or if they need to be cleared. And then if they're really energetic, my pendulum will go crazy. If they're really dead and just kind of full of energy, or full of negative energy, then the pendulum will not be reactive to them. So that's just how I check mine. But I just put them next to selenite, and they're good.
Yeah. And then the selenite, I know a great way to sort of recharge your selenite is actually moonlight, because it's a very gentle, selenite's a very gentle energy. And now one thing I have definitely heard is do not soak your stones in salt water at all, because a lot of people do that and you totally ruin the stone. So, moonlight is great. Sunlight isn't always great, folks, for some stones that are very, very gentle. But the moonlight is a really nice way to kind of, freshen them back up again. And in some cases, even a light rain, just to sort of recharge and cleanse. So that's just a little tip. Now we do have a question from Anne Godfrey, who's also one of our regulars. She's asking, we mentioned rose quartz earlier, Cate. I know that you were talking about that. She says, how large should the rose quartz be? So Cate, I'll let you jump on that one.
Yeah, I always have a rule of thumb. The crystal that you choose is what you're drawn to, right? And it's what your soul is, you connect. The crystal is living, energy, it's and you attract to each other. I've lost crystals when I'm done with them. So, size doesn't matter. It could be the smallest little tumblestone, or, you could be attracted to or drawn to one that's in the shape of an angel, that's, So size doesn't matter. It's really about if you energetically connect with that stone.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And other ideas too, just real quick to cleanse. And I love that exercise, Tiffany. I love that, putting that selenite next to the heart chakra. That's fabulous. Love that. That's great. Thank you. I might even try that myself. But I also have huge selenite wands that I just keep all my crystals on. Selenite is kyanite and selenite are two crystals that you never have to charge. They are self-charging, and the selenite, I put all my other crystals around it. But if you can't sage your, and clear and recharge and do that, again, sound. singing bowls. Any vibration will jar that energy and set the intention. It's about setting the intention, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good thought too, is setting the intention. Because while you're doing this, you want to be connected. You want to be focused, not just like, yeah, here's your white sage while you're off, typing on. So
Well,
there is that. There is that
right? We tend to do that because we're absorbing so much energy. So you want to be really mindful and set some strong intentions. That helps.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Let's see, what's our time? Okay, so we have about 10 minutes left in today's particular show. So let's see, I want to go to another comment here. Anne writes, I was born in the 12th house in astrology. That also deals with the collective as well as the unconscious. So back to our topic of being an empath. Let's talk about the collective and the unconscious, or as the unconscious. So, subconsciously, as empaths, in other words, can be when as an empath in your, let's say, your dream world, okay? Have you ladies experienced the empathic gift, if you will, when you are in the unconscious realm? And if you are doing that, I mean, what would I know for me, sometimes I go to bed and I wake up utterly more exhausted than I was before I went to sleep, because I've been like literally all over the place in my dreams. I mean, it's just the craziest stuff happens in my dreams. So in your experiences, does the empathic world, enter your dream world as well? And Tiffany, I guess I'm bouncing back to you. So.
Yeah, it totally does. And yeah, I mean, I can have the same experience I'm having during the day that can happen at nighttime. But what I've done is I've kind of, before I go to bed, I do a meditation. I just say, no, I'm not doing this tonight, and I'm setting intention for really great rest. So it can happen, yes, where you're totally exhausted, because basically the stuff you're doing during the day, you're going to do it at night as well. Especially if you're a healer, if you're intuitive, if different things like that. But I just kind of set healthy boundaries so that I'm not doing that anymore, because I used to just be totally exhausted when I woke up and just felt like I wasn't getting any sleep. So been there, done that, but I just kind of set an intention to not do that anymore.
Okay. All right. Great idea. And this intention is becoming a common thread. Like it's clearly very, very important.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Cate, what about you? Do you dream in empathy?
I'll be honest with you, I don't sleep.
Yeah.
I'm still working on that. Empaths can easily, acquire PTSD just being empaths, but also they've experienced abuse, right? So, and sometimes that can affect your sleep. But when I do dream, yes, it's like I get a lot of deja vu. I get a lot of things that come true. So it's like I'm seeing the future sometimes. I think that's why I don't always remember my dreams,
Right, sure.
Definitely is, there are moments where I'm feeling things, from others. So yes, I feel like we're just slipping in one realm to another, right? So in setting intentions, right? I have to tell spirit, leave me alone tonight. I need to go to sleep. I don't need you talking to me, right? So setting intentions, right?
Yeah. So when you ladies set intentions, what does that look like for you? Do you just sort of just sit there while you're eating dinner and be like, okay, tonight, blah, 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 blah? Or is there like a ritual? I mean, I don't want to say ritual, but is there a practice that sort of opens that gateway a little bit more strongly than if you just think the thought? Or, what does that look like in your world? Tiffany, I'll go to you on this one.
Well, I always, I believe that we're consciously creating our reality. So I'm always creating what I want for the day. I'm setting my intent, even in the morning, I set my intention of what my day is going to look like, of how my interactions are going to be, like how am I going to feel? So it's just kind of a mindfulness and choosing what you want your day to look like, and including your boundaries and energetic boundaries as well as your experiences. So I think it's more of a way of life. It's kind of how I see it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, well, I like that. I actually like that a lot because it's not just a one-time, well, today's intention is going to be, it's literally it just becomes your reality. So that's hugely powerful. If you have, if you're strong enough to look at it like that and remember that, because that's the thing. And Anne touched on this a little bit, the collective as well as the unconscious. If you consciously make that decision to, this is what I am, this is how I'm steering this today, then, and you remember how to do it, because listen, it's easy to really get caught up in the the frustrations and the sorrows of the world, and just these decisions that are being made that are mind boggling to me. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I get very emotionally attached to the fact that, for instance, we can now, once again, it's been legalized to bring, poached animal trophies into the United States. That legislation was signed in, and it's like, part of me is just, I just want to, like, it drives me crazy. But then, I have to understand that, okay, I can't let that eat me up too much, because it destroys it. But it's not easy to do. I mean, you see all the pain and the suffering out there, and it's a tough thing to deal with. So yeah, I thank you for that, setting that sort of like that goal for your everyday life. That, it makes sense. Cate, what about you? What are you looking at for that?
I think it's a little bit of both. There's time, I have my daily, meditation and prayer time, and I set my intentions for the day, just like Tiffany says. That's really important. And there's times throughout the day I'm setting intentions depending on what I'm facing, right? So like things happen, right? So, I just set an intention like, oh gosh, I need to find parking now. But, just throw it out there, right? I need to find parking, I want to park, right? Whatever the intention is, it's a little bit of both, right? And especially for an empath, your goalposts can change, by the way. So, especially as you strengthen your boundaries and strengthen, in your knowledge of how powerful your gift is, and how powerful that though being sensitive can help others, how powerful that is, and how you corral it so you're not absorbing everybody's stuff. I, like you, I get caught up in the political stuff, like, oh my God, Trump is my dad without the money, it's just like trigger, impact. Right. So set the intention. Like if you do get triggered, like tell yourself, if this happens, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to just stop and breathe, or take a quick walk, whatever the intention is to help you shift your energy,
Sure.
Stay by, minute by minute sometimes. So.
Yeah, that's true. And we don't have to, guys, this isn't a race. I mean, we like Cate said, you can shift, and also you don't have to do it all in one day. This is a lifelong process. So, but on that note, we've got a couple minutes left in the show. I do want to take some time to educate our listeners here today. And to our listeners, just on a little side note, you guys have been wonderful today. I do thank you for listening and for participating with us. We're going to have more again in 2 weeks. But what I want to remind everybody is that you ladies actually, you do some work with the public, classes and courses and such on further developing these skills and teaching people how to do everything that we've just been talking about in this show. So Tiffany, why don't you talk a little bit about what you've got to offer to folks out there listening, and then we'll jump back over to Cate. So.
Sure. So I offer healing sessions to help you to release things that are, like, if there's empathic things that you're picking up on that are blocking you, or your empathic abilities are just really making you have anxiety, or however it's affecting you, or you're making you sick. I do a lot of healing work to help with that, as well as I'm doing a lot of work with businesses and entrepreneurs who either are empathic and they know it, or they're empathic and they have no idea, but they're wanting to bring in more spirituality into their lives and their businesses. So that's the type of work I'm doing. And it's incredible work that leads to so much empowerment. And once you kind of learn how to utilize your abilities instead of them like being detrimental to you, and you can utilize them for the better for yourself and for others, it's life-changing. It's a game changer, and everything just flows. So if you ever want help with that, just please reach out to me. And my website is tiffanypowershealing.com.
Yep. And we will be posting both these ladies' websites in the comments as well, folks, so you can check them out. And thank you for that, Tiffany. And Cate, what about you?
Wow. Well, as far as the empathic piece goes, I offer different services. So I'm a medium. So empathically, as a medium, evidential medium, I'm very connected with spirits. So I pick up, just a lot of their personalities, like even down to details that not in the basic textbooks, but they're like, oh my God. So empathically, I pick up things that way in the medium readings. But on an intuitive level, I really help my clients with breaking family patterns or identifying family patterns that might be stalling them from moving forward in their life. Things come up where I see where they sabotage themselves, or even, obviously we do in this work attract a lot of empaths, right? And I'll immediately know, like, oh, I get this. So a lot of times it's coaching on how they can just ground themselves, set boundaries, right? Tap into maybe some of their intuitive side if they're not afraid of it, right? It depends on the person, but my psychic surface, my readings aren't really like, gee, am I gonna, win the lottery? It's really about guidance, growing your empathic self, breaking family patterns, and moving into the life you want to live, right?
Yeah,
and
definitely
identifying obstacles.
Yeah, and both you ladies are so great at that. You are so adept at the empowerment of others, and being an empath is a huge part of that. There's so much good that you can do as an empath, but you really, my advice would be to anybody that is out there that is experiencing, the life of an empath. There is a lot that you can do with it. However, I would not recommend that you go out there and attempt to, be doing this in any type of a professional manner, or even just in a non-professional manner, before you learn how to first take care of you. And both these ladies here with us today can assist you in that process. If any of this that we talked about today resonates with you, and you feel like, hey, I've really got this going on, or I have some more questions, or I'd like to know how to develop this better, or I'd like to really put some practices within my life to sort of laser focus on this a little bit more, but also protect myself from the possible pitfalls of it, because where there's positive, sometimes there's negative. Most of the time there's negative. So yeah, I would highly encourage you guys to reach out to either or both of these ladies to help further you on that course. And speaking of furthering on the course, 2 weeks from today, we are going to come back and we are going to talk about actually who the empath attracts. Relationship wise, there's a huge amount of empaths out there who actually attract the wrong kind of people, and there are reasons for this. So we're going to cover that in the show 2 weeks from now, and we hope that everybody out there listening will join us. If this does resonate with you, share it with your friends. These ladies have volunteered their time free of charge today, and I just want to really reach out and thank them and support them for that. Also, thank you to all of our listeners today. So, ladies, we're at the top of our show, and we're going to go ahead and wrap. So, yeah, thank you for being with us. And yes, we'll see you again in 2 weeks. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Set your intentions, people. That's the takeaway, I think, from today's show. So, all right, ladies, have a wonderful day, and thank everybody. Thanks to all of our listeners. In 2 more weeks, we'll be back. This is Shay Parker, Metaphysical Minds, Tiffany Powers, Cate Coffelt. We're all signing out. Take care of yourselves and take care of one another, folks. Bye for now.